Hello everyone, this is another quick video. In this video, we're going to show a demo on how do we leverage Amazon Q with Rdstools. Rdstools, as you guys know, there's two pieces to Rdstools, the RDS Discovery and the SQL Assessment. The RDS Discovery runs on your servers. It's a quick scan and scan your server for all the incompatibilities with RDS, and it gives you a clear map on how do you migrate your server? Does it belong in RDS, RDS custom on EC2, and shows you all the limitation on your server. Uh, Looking at this data, it could be overwhelming, especially if we're talking about a lot of servers, like a mass migration, like 50 servers, 30 servers, 100 servers, and you have a specific need, maybe cost optimization, maybe upgrade, maybe you want to downgrade and all that, right? So checking every server, it could be overwhelming. So how do we take advantage of Amazon Q uh, to analyze and summarize this data for us? So let's take a quick look here. Uh, I have two sets of files, and those are actual files. The names and the information has been scrubbed, but those are actual files with actual data. The very first one is RDS Discovery, and there is about 40 plus servers in that list. Actually, 41 server. I've named them to server, server number, just to scrub the server names. And it shows here, like, different information. There is yes and no's, as you see. The nulls those are the features that did not exist. Some of them are SQL Server 2012, some of them 14, some of the feature didn't exist. So that's why you see nulls. And there is a standalone, there's read only, there's primary, and they are RDS, not RDS custom, and they're all kind of information, right? So looking at this file, as I said, could be overwhelming. Some people, they may not even know where to start, what to look at, and they just need a simple summarization, right? So if we go and take a look on uh, the Amazon queue, right, and we run that server by Amazon queue or the file by Amazon queue and see, okay, how do we take advantage of that, right? Here's my application. So I have built an Amazon queue and I deployed an application using Okta, OKT, Okta, right? OKTA. Which is basically, I mean, you can use a lot of different applications to create an application and point it to Amazon Q and RDS, right? And through that application, I can, run a lot of analysis. So if you can see here, right, the very first one is, uh, actually, I want to show you a different one, right? So, and you have to be careful how to use your prompt, right? And what I suggest is, play with your prompts, play with different prompts. But what I find that makes the biggest difference is when you tell Amazon Q and assign Amazon Q a role. Like, for example, what I'm doing here, right? So I'm telling Amazon Q, okay, now you're a SQL Server specialist, an RDS specialist, and I want you to look at this data and analyze it for me, right? So what I'm telling Amazon Q, you're a specialist, look at this data as a specialist and give me a summarization, right? So I attach the RDS discovery, right? And if you see here, like some of the information, basically I have just a basic request here, right? Using the resources that you have at your disposal, check the attached file, analyze the data. Just I want a simple analyzation, right? And here's what Amazon Q came back with, right? So it just tells you how many servers in the file, how they divided. There's enterprise, there's standard. The majority of instances are version 12 or 13, with a few running version 15. This indicates that these servers are running older version and need to be upgraded. So that's a very important piece that we need to know off the bat, that hey, some of those servers are not supported nowadays and needs to be upgraded. Most of the instances are running standalone, with 6 instances are configured as a primary or secondary and always on. What that means is the standalone is, you may not need multi-AZ, but the one that are configured as secondary and primary, those that require multi-AZ. That's another piece of information that is very important. It tells us on this, the database size, and it goes and it checks the enterprise features, right? So it says several instances are using enterprise feature like transparent data, encryption, compression, partition, and all that. And the majority of the instances, 35 out of 41, are not using SQL Server application, right? That's cool. So what if I have more specific questions as opposed to, you know what about if I want to just further do more cost optimization, and can I downgrade some of those enterprise features to standard, right? So looking at here is like using, and again, very specific prompt, very specific question, and uh, just you can use that on the second question as a follow-up to the first question, right? Using the resources that you have at your disposal, check the attached file for possible downgrading of version from enterprise to standard, even if I have to upgrade to later version. And that is very important, because if I tell it just check your possibilities of upgrading or downgrading from enterprise to standard, Amazon Q may come back and say, no, you cannot downgrade because you're using column store index on 2012, which is it may be like 2012 enterprise, right? But if you tell, even if I want to upgrade, I want to make sure that I can go ahead and downgrade it. So here's what Amazon can come back with, right? It says the file contains 41 servers. So the SQL Server Edition, there are 35 out of those are running enterprise, 3 are running standard, and 2 are running developers. The majority of the instances are running 2012 and SQL Server 2014. There are a few instances that are running 2016, 17. To address the question for the 35 instances using Enterprise, it is possible to downgrade them to standard, but this would require upgrading to a later version, right? As standard is not available in the older version. There are 3 instances already running standard, so that's very important. What it's telling me is that based on the feature that I'm using on those older versions, I can upgrade to maybe 2019, 22, and downgrade from enterprise to standard. This is huge information, right? If you're gonna sit down and check each one of them, and go back and cross-check this with the information that you have, check the website of Microsoft, and this feature is where is it right now? You're gonna spend days and days looking at all the information. And we're talking about servers, right? 41 servers in this particular example, but it could be 100, 200, 300 servers, right? So this is what this is telling us again, that hey, yes, it is possible. You can downgrade if you just go ahead and upgrade it, right? Let's look at other examples for this. For example, here I'm saying, hey, create me a detailed migrate. So there's we need be careful, right? So not all the data may be 100% accurate. Some of them there's still a lot of hallucination that's happening. Some information may not be correct, and we're going to see some of those examples. I am saying here that create me a detailed plan to migrate those servers to RDS. Right? It came back with just a general a plan, nothing really detailed, right? Now, if we look at the RDS discovery file, we're going to notice some of the servers are, as it says here, are RDS compatible. Some of them are not, right? And as I said, there's a lot of information here, and I'm not going to sit down and check every single server and why is it, why is it not, right? So I'm going to leverage Amazon Q, right? So what I'm going to tell Amazon Q is, again, you are an RDS. This time I'm giving Amazon Q a role of being an RDS SQL Server expert. Why some of the servers in the attached file cannot be migrated to RDS, right? And I'm attaching the RDS discovery. So it says based on the information, blah, 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 SQL Server version, the file shows, right? So first we have versions that are not supported by RDS because they're no longer supported, right? So we need to upgrade those. And it goes and it says, well, you do have some of the features, like you have heterogeneous link servers, you have service broker endpoint, you have this and that, right? So those ones are not supported in RDS. You do have some databases that are fairly large, right? And it does, just give you a caution. While RDS can handle large database sizes, it may be more cost effective to consider other migration options for the service. So just giving you an idea on what migration to utilize. As I said, some of the information may be relevant, maybe not relevant, right? Some of the information may not be correct. So for example, take a look at here. SQL Server Edition, the file indicate that some servers are running the developer or standard edition of SQL Server, which may not be supported or recommended for migration to RDS. That is not an accurate statement, right? RDS typically works best with enterprise edition. So that's not an accurate statement. So we need to be careful. And this stuff is gonna, it's gonna grow, and it's gonna be trained on new information, and it's going to be able to handle all kind of information, right? So although we are at early stages, but that information that we already have is just, incredible, right? And it's going to make our job just to, expedite and accelerate the migration to RDS a lot faster and a lot easier, right? And if you look at the other information here, it does talk about some of the, the high memories and CPU requirement. There's some servers that require high memory and CPUs, like for example, the one server that the memory is not set up correctly, right? So that particular server, the max memory remains as the default, and that's showing a high memory, which is not supporting RDS, right? So in summary, the main reason unsupported features, unsupported additions, unsupported feature, very large database, and high CPUs and memories, right? So let's switch gear here and look at the SQL Server assessment. SQL Server assessment, as you guys know, is the one that we collect, it runs on a particular schedule, it collects metrics and give you the right sizing for the servers. In here, I have an actual file that is about, I think is a little less, maybe it's like 23, 24 servers. So let's just take a look at the server and look what it looks like. So it's 23 servers, and it has all different information and all different recommendations. Look at the recommendation, right? So CPUs can be scaled down by memory. It varies from scale up to scale down, right? Uh, all different setups, uh, all different servers, right? So let's just put this through Amazon Q and ask them for, analyze and different questions, right? So if you look here, so again, I'll tell Amazon Q you are SQL Server RDS specialist using the resources that you have at your disposal. Check the attached file and analyze the data for me. Just simple question, just analyze the data. So he's going to come back with first is give you information about the server configuration, the CPU utilization. Some of them they're high, some of them they're low, some of them they are like within. It happened that all CPUs are underutilized, but memories are overutilized. Server one, for example, has 100% memory utilization, indicating they may need memory, scale up on the memory. Server 2, 3 are 0, so we need to scale down. IO and throughput, there's a couple of servers they maximize based on the server size. They have max IOPS and throughputs. And it gives you a recommendation, right? Based on the current configuration, the RDS recommendation for all three servers is 12x large, blah, 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 right? So I want to take this up another notch, right? So what I want to ask it is let's just ask more specific questions. And my question here is going to be more around consolidation. Uh, so here the question that I have is, as a SQL Server database specialist and RDS specialist, please review the attached document and provide a detailed analysis of the finding. Additionally, offer possible cost optimization and strategies based on consolidation servers. So on top of just analyzing, I want to understand, is there a possibility of cost optimization and consolidation servers? Consolidation servers, right, as you may know, is one of the hardest ones, right? Because you're going to start looking at different servers, which, have different utilizations and which one sits with which one. And if you're talking about 30, 40, 50 servers, that could be a very daunting job and could be a very long job, right? So here what it says is like server configuration recommendation. The file contains data for 23 servers. The instances are enterprise. The instances have a wide range of CPUs and memory configuration with logical CPU count ranging from 24 to 48. All right, so they're giving you analysis of all the servers and which edition you're taking. Cost optimization, consolidate server based on the similar resources requirement and low CPU utilization. It may be possible to consolidate some of the server onto fewer larger instances. This could result in cost saving. All right, instance size, review the memory recommendation, right? Blah, 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 blah. Example, server 19, 2023. This could lead to cost saving. And further, with the because utilize memory optimized instances, explore IDS for SQL Server, right? So, but let's just be more specific. That one, it give us analysis and it give us an idea as what it looks like to optimize and cost saving. But I want to be more specific. And here, but the question is like, okay, which servers can be consolidated? So look at the instances and look at that and tell me which servers can be consolidated. So here's more specific. Server 19 and server 20. These servers have very low CPUs and memory utilization with CPU pressure utilization at 2% and 0%, and server memory utilization at 0% for both. RDS recommendations suggest using smaller instances type like 12x large. These servers can potentially be consolidated into a single server, right? If we go back to that file, right? So server 19 and 20. Let's check server 19 and 20. That is server 19 and that's server 20, right? So the recommendation here is to scale down on CPU, scale down on memory, so both underutilized, and it's going down from 12x large. So it's saying those two can sit together. Further, it goes to server 23. The server has a lower logical CPU count of 24 and max memory setting of almost 1 terabyte. The CPU pressure utilization is 21%. The RDS recommendation is 16 or 12 XR. This server can potentially be considered with other servers with similar resource requirement. Other servers with similar resource requirement and low CPU utilization, such as server 14 and server 17, can be considered for consolidation to optimize cost. So basically, he was trying, was giving us is looking at the resources, CPU, memories, IOP throughputs, right? I can further tell it, you know what? Let's try this, right? If I go and said, okay, well, you know what? Which server can be consolidated using CPU, memory, IOPS, throughputs, and DB size? Let's see what it says. So pretty much the same as this one, because that's all it can do at this point. Server 19 and 20, server 23 with 14 and 17, right? If I go and I have other files as well, so maybe let's just go and try with other files. Let's see, SQL assessment output 2. That is my own testing. I think there's the SQL assessment output. So let's try with that one, right? If we go and start a new chat and upload this file, uh, again, let's just assign a role. You are a database specialist and RDS specialist. Review the attached file and give me recommendation on possible consolidation. All right. So that is, although it doesn't really care, it's smart enough to read even if there's spelling errors. All right. So server one, based on the information I can provide, server one, the server has 48 logical CPUs, cores, and 500. The CPU utilization is 20%. The server memory, all that, right? Server 2 and 3, both servers have 48 and all the CPUs. The server memory utilization for both are 3. The RDS recommendation based on the current possible consolidation. Server 1 could be considered with server 2 and 3 since they have similar hardware configuration and lower CPUs, the memory. So this one is just, basically saying all those three can be consolidated. So this is great, great information. Again, the idea behind this DOM is how do you, leverage Amazon Q to just speed up the analysis and ask specific questions around what you're trying to accomplish. If your goal is like you want to move quickly to RDS, or you want to, consolidate, you want to achieve cost optimization, right? Mass migration, you have a lot of servers. Sitting down and looking at each and every server, that could be a big job and overwhelming. A lot of information, there's a lot of things, right? Amazon Q can help you then. My Amazon Q or my application is trained on all RDS SQL Server blogs, on Brent Ozar blogs, for example, and a lot of SQL Server information that is crawled and trained on, right? So on top of just running this information against one of the modules, it does give me information on performance. It will give me information on creating CloudFormation template, creating best practice and all that. And I will show you that in the next demo. I want to keep this demo as short as possible, but in short demo, we'll show you how to take advantage of some of the information that my Amazon queue is trained on to further enhance your database and RDS. Thank you, and we'll see you in the next video.